Happy Monday. I'm just giving the video a little bit of time to show up on Facebook. Let me just refresh here, just to make sure that we are live. Yay, let's see. Okay. Sometimes it helps to refresh a little bit. I can see I am live. Very nice. There's a few delays on it, but that should be fine. And when you find the video and when you're joining the event, make sure to leave a little message, to also allow StreamYard to actually see your name. That helps me see your comments on my side. Otherwise, it would just say Facebook user. So welcome. I'm just giving the video a little bit of time to arrive and for people to find it. I can see we already have a couple of viewers. It's wonderful to welcome you into this space and to our 4-day mini workshop here on Facebook. So I'm just going to start the workshop, and there will be some that will be joining me live and others will tune in via replay. So this is our 4-day mini workshop here on Facebook. And this workshop is a gift to my Awakened Leadership community as I'm celebrating my 15 years anniversary here in South Africa. So it's like just a big moment for me. So my anniversary is the 1st of November, but I'm warming up with this workshop. So I'm streaming live for 30 minutes every day. And you can also watch via replay. And you just add #replay when you join. And also remember to leave some hearts and some fires as you join the workshop, because entrepreneurship is all about passion. It's all about passion. And I would love to see and feel your passion in the workshop. So those hearts and fires are going to get us going into the daily teaching. And I'm excited to share my entrepreneurial journey with you in this workshop, my toolkit, over these next 4 days. And I'll share with you, as you can see up here at the banner, I will share with you 4 big teachings that have impacted my path significantly over these past 15 years. Now, if you are not an entrepreneur, you can still use the teachings to live your dream and to unlock and unleash your potential, and to have some deeply honest conversations with yourself about what is holding me back. This workshop is an invitation to go beyond yourself and to recognize that very special, as I call it, cell that you are in the body of we, which is our collective. This workshop is a space where you learn to be guided by the journey so that you can answer your heart's deepest longing. And I'm also bringing gifts. So for those of you who are showing up and being active in the workshop this week, you can win some amazing prizes. So let's just start with a little bit of admin. And I won't do that every day, but I think it's important to do today as we're starting the workshop. So how do you participate? And I also have left some posts sharing about that. So you tune in daily and you catch this 30-minute teaching, either live or via replay. You like and comment on the video. You participate in the daily task and you upload it here in our Awakened Leadership community under the guides section. And I will create a post specifically for that, for the daily task. Yay! Lovely to see a comment. So excited. Let me just see here on Facebook who is actually commenting, because I can't see it. Just remember to allow StreamYard to see your name so I can see who it is. But welcome to the workshop. It's wonderful to have you there. So as I said about the tasks, the way you participate, you add in that daily post, you are going to upload your daily task. And that's going to be in the guide section. So on top of our page, you'll be able to see the guide section. you look for the workshop, The Entrepreneur, which is guide number 1. And you can also search by saying #task or #the entrepreneur. Yes, good morning. Good morning. It's lovely to have you here. I love to feel the energy. Beautiful people arriving into the space. And this lady, oh, wonderful. Yay. So nice to see you. Ladybugs. Oh, beautiful that you're here. Thank you so much for joining. And let me just put up, because I'm also bringing prizes, of course. I'm just going to bring up a banner here. Let me just go to the banner. So there's nothing like a great competition to really get us going. So I'm also bringing prizes, of course, as you participate in the workshop. So let's just for a moment look at the prizes. So if you would like to be the workshop champion of the day, just make sure that you complete the task for the day by midnight on the day of the teaching, and you upload it as a comment under guide 1, teaching day 1. You will then be added to the lucky draw, which takes place the following day. So every day I'm going to announce a workshop champion who wins a 60-minute online journey map session with me. The second prize is for the best ambassador. So this is a half-day breakthrough workshop for the one who participates daily in the task, who watches the teachings, and who invites most people to our Awakened Leadership community here on Facebook. Now, we also have a big prize, which goes to the community champion. This is the one who participates in all the tasks, the teachings, and encourages everybody else in the workshop space. And remember that entrepreneurship elevates in these collaborative spaces, and it takes each one of us to make this workshop a big success. So our community champion wins a seat on my upcoming Reclaim Your Power Bootcamp, which is next week. We're starting November 2nd. There are only 11 seats in this bootcamp, and it's just such a beautiful, intimate space. And the bootcamp, as you can see here, is valued at $799 US. It's our 5th bootcamp. And yeah, it's just the most amazing 28 days that takes you to a completely new level. And you can also tune into some of the testimonials. I have them on my timeline. They're also on YouTube, the testimonials. So please have a look at them and feel the energy of those who have journeyed in that bootcamp. So this is just to give you a taster of some of the prizes up for grabs. I hope that encourages you also to really step into the workshop and just participate and be here. So I would like to share the journey map with you that we're kind of going to use over these 4 days in our workshop. So I'm going to call it up here on, let me just, so you can see me here through the banner. So I'm going to, in our workshop space, I'm going to use an interpretation of the hero's journey. So for those of you who are not familiar with the hero's journey, it is a famous format that is used as a story template in movies, books, theater, and so on. And it follows a hero on a journey of many trials and the hero's metamorphosis as a result of engaging this heroic path. And I just thought this to be a perfect format for our workshop, and also to share and celebrate my own journey of entrepreneurship. And I'm also sure that many of you will be able to relate to it. And that's why it's so important to gift you a tool that can help you on the journey. So if we look at this map, and as I said, I'm using my own interpretation. So it's a shortened version for the purpose of this workshop. I'm just going to make sure I just open the comments again. Okay, so here, so you can see the different steps here on the journey. So if you look down here, so you have the car and the road, and there you can see the ordinary world. So here you have the ordinary world. The hero is here in the safe space, in the known space. And then we have here the call to adventure, which is it's a call to action. It's something that disrupts our world and that invites us on a journey to expand. But the thing is, very often, right here, as you see the refusal, we're often reluctant to answer this call, because the thing is, we prefer what is known. So this is also going to be a big focus of our workshop today on day one, this refusal. So we're going to look a little bit deeper into this, and I will use my own journey as an example to highlight the steps. Now on the journey, so the hero meets a mentor, encouraging us to take the next step, to take the leap, to have the courage. And workshops like this is an invitation to be courageous and to move out of what is familiar to you, to dare to leap. And what is important is to remember here that you can only cross the threshold into this big unknown where there are lots of treasures that are waiting for you. You can only do that by yourself. This is your journey. So we can have lots of people encouraging on the path, but that's not going to make the change. You actually gotta take the step. And it is this step into the big unknown that's going to show your commitment to engage the change that is summoning you. And this requires that we develop a growth mindset and that we move beyond what is holding us back. So once we do that, we enter this special world where we're going to go through a lot of tests. We meet both allies and enemies, and it is in these challenges that we now refer to as our classrooms that we sharpen our tools and our skills, and where we're able to start moving towards that inner cave. You can see the inner cave up here with a rucksack. And this is where we are confronting the change. We're facing our inner battles. And this is a season that asks for our full participation, because here we're going to die in the old and awaken to so much more of ourselves. Now the question is, as you go through this ordeal, will you return transformed? Or are you just going to keep doing what you're always doing? Will you allow this upgrade from me frequency, which keeps broadcasting this old stuck energy? Or are you going to really upgrade into this higher purpose, like a calling that includes the we? The question is, will you harvest all the rewards that this journey has in store for you? What will it be? Defeat or victory? So this is the map that we're going to journey through. And I'm also going to now take you into today's teaching on this journey map. Now, when I look at my own hero's journey, now part of what has been a big lesson for me as an entrepreneur has been to master this dance of being human. So what does that actually mean? Now we have this capacity for both dark and light, and daily we move across a full spectrum. But the question is, what is really in service of my journey? What is it that's holding me back from fully expressing my potential? And what is it that will allow me to take this leap into this special world? So now the victim is a big barrier to a successful entrepreneurial path. And it's been a big task for me personally to break up with mine, which, by the way, is not a once-off task. I kind of have to daily check in if she once again has stolen the keys to my car. And that's really why I also chose the car symbol here and chose the victim kind of as the springboard for our teaching on day one. Because the thing about our pattern, they're very, very convincing. So often we're not aware of that we've been hijacked. And also, our behavior tends to show up in gangs. And this means that several layers of our journey is expressing itself, especially if we've been hurt. We harbor a lot of things. So let me give you an example of my gang. I'm just going to open this banner. So here we go. So now you see here we have my car here, my protected ordinary world, my safe space. And then you have my gang here who I've been working a lot with this gang of behavior throughout my years of entrepreneurship. And what's been really important is to really notice them and being aware that they're there, so that the journey is not just a troublesome one, but actually understand some of the deeper layers. I'm also highlighting here, so you can see in the mountain, I'm highlighting some of the many calls to adventure that I have received on my path. I also call them wake-up calls. Now, my victim here and her gang, so you can see the victim, the judge of self and others, the controlling one, the perfect one, the escapist. So they're all sitting in the car, sometimes taking over. And when they look at these calls to adventure, they just see mountains, because that's the mindset that they're stuck in, and their resistance to any change. And they are part of my inner war and this daily battle. And it's almost like a dance between the dark and the light. And you see, we all have this inner war, this inner battle, this dance, because we're all human. We get hurt along the way. We battle stuff that we're not sure how to deal with or resolve. We start to protect ourselves. We wear big armor. And this starts very, very early in our lives. And yes, we all do have different stories with different experiences, but we all carry these heavy, heavy suitcases. So to be a successful entrepreneur, it is important to upgrade our frequency. Because if your energy operates in victim or scarcity energy, that is exactly what you get on your journey. And that is exactly kind of the lens you're going to see the world with. Now, everybody here in my car, they are a huge barrier to me achieving great things. So everybody who is driving your car of life is a huge barrier to your success. Now, we live in an abundant universe, and I promise you, everything operates in this abundant exchange to assist you on your path. But you see, you and I, we got to do our part. And that means that we have to address the stories that we carry in these heavy rucksacks, those stories that we are often still trapped in. And how do I know that? It's because I've answered all of these calls to adventure that you see here on my map, on my entrepreneurial path. And I don't see them as separate from my path. They are where I built fitness and awakened leadership. It's where I stretch myself and explore so much more of my potential. So when I look at my upbringing, which was quite a steep climb, and when I look at the different experiences that have shaped my life, yes, I do see mountains, big mountains, but I see mountains that have strengthened me, and very importantly, that have softened me. And I see lots of challenges, and in the classroom of each of them, I've developed this beautiful depth coaching methodology in which I develop change agents and coaches. I've learned about values when I've climbed these mountains. And I've had so many breakthroughs to let go of this distrust that has inhibited me from blossoming into all that I can be. I see invitations to grow and to explore what I'm here to do. And I realized this by engaging each of these wake-up calls, that I'm here to do great things. Now, the victim in you might jump up and shout, but I've been through this, and well, yeah, certainly, and so does my victim chat up a storm once in a while because, it's what they do, it's what they know. But just take a look around you for a moment and see if you can find a chair. And now that you're at it, grab a few more chairs and put next to you, okay? And now you're going to ask your victim and the entire gang, so whoever here is in your gang next to the victims, just ask them to sit down for a moment and take a seat and allow some space to listen to their stories. And this is really important because otherwise, if we don't listen, if we don't attend to, and I'm just talking about listening and then just complying, I'm talking about listening and being curious about this story and what it harbors. Because otherwise, when we're hijacked by it, we just either explode or we implode and cause a lot of harm with all this unresolved energy. So part of our task today for day one, it will be something I'll come back to, but it is about really knowing what stirs in you, who drives your car, and to start to have this honest conversation with yourself, because you cannot free yourself from a prison that you're unconscious of. So be curious. And also, very importantly, because this is a tough conversation, be kind to yourself in the process. So when I started paying attention, and actually some of the first times, I mean, my victim has been with me for many years, but I started to pay attention to her in the early days of me arriving in South Africa. And as you can see here in my mountain in 2002, I lost the father of my children, my partner, in a car accident. 4 years later, I took the big leap and immigrated to South Africa with a new partner. And I decided he, not me, he decided to end our relationship only 3 weeks after arrival. Big call to adventure. So that's how my journey in South Africa started. And my journey has had many bumps on the road. And it's easy to blame the past, blame my childhood, blame the circumstances for not fully showing up on this purpose path. Now, in 2011, I ran out of money and I lived with my children in a garage for a few months and a tiny room in someone's house for another 11 months. In 2014, I experienced an armed robbery. Oh, and let's not forget 2020, big global pandemic. So there's lots of invitations, lots of wake-up calls. So what do we do with all of that? And why is it important to spend some time in our teaching here on day one to talk about this deeper stuff? And this is not always a conversation that we're willing to engage in. So it's a courageous one, this conversation. We have to know what are the barriers to our success. We need to know our starting point and change our mind about these barriers instead of seeing them as challenges, to actually turn them into opportunities. And this is exactly when I arrived to South Africa in my first years here, that I recognized that I can turn challenge into a classroom. So instead of being sucked into it and drown in this feeling of defeat, I decided to be curious about what it could teach me. And really, I mean, just this first year of walking my path was all about trusting the wake-up calls here in South Africa, that they were here to help me, to teach me, and not just to break me, because that's how it feels when we get some of these big ones. So trust, if I look at, really having gone through, of course, this hero journey quite a few times, this process, and which is why I value it so much, and really realizing that there are huge rewards on this journey if we engage the journey and the change that we're invited to. And trust has been one of those big rewards for me. And with trust at my core, and I keep working on it every day. I haven't fully arrived yet. And that's part of the rewards as well, that it keeps you humble. You keep journeying to really begin to also step into our greatness. So part of today's task is to reflect on, and I'm just going to call that up. Let's just take the first one here and just sit with that one for a little moment. We want to reflect on who is actually in the driver's seat of your car. Who have you given the keys to? And just sit with that for a moment. Just, also as you think into the sharing today and to some of, the things that I've been sharing about my victim, my judge, my controlling one, my escapist. Who sits in your car? Because this is the gang that shows up and who refuses to answer the call to adventure. I'm just going to call up the next one as well, which are the questions, and I'm going to upload these in the guide section. Remember, so these maps will be uploaded in the guide section. So just look into also the question here, just to name minimum 2 big mountains that you're dealing with currently on your path. Describe them in detail, because I often find the moment we put a little bit more words to our calls to adventure, we see a little bit more nuances, and that's really helpful. Also look at the gang, so again, the gang that drives your car. And also look at, as you name each one of them, just look into and listen into some of that self-talk that is going on. What is that self-talk that is taking place in that car? Often it's quite a noisy crew when that gang takes over the car of our life. And I'm just going to show you as well my own map here. So what happens in my journey. So here you can see, so it gives you a little bit of ingredients, how I approach the task as well. So the call to adventure, so 2 of my mountains. So the pandemic has been a big one. Then a major body reset, like this year alone, had a fractured foot, I had a hip operation, and I had COVID pneumonia. So that's been part of my calls to adventure. And then the refusal here, some of my gang, and some of this self-talk, this chatter that is going on, the victim. Wow, really? Another one? We walked so many mountains, already with no support. So she's throwing her pity party over here. The escapist, like, yeah, why bother? I never win anyway. But she's not thinking necessarily about what it means to achieve in a business. She's more concerned about recognition, which is part of the story that I've also uncovered, because I've been, of course, into the inner cave many times throughout this journey, as I've accepted the calls to adventure and have allowed myself to enter the special world instead of just always remaining in the old. And then there's the controlling one, who is best buddies with the perfectionist. Now, they say, we'll handle this. We already know best. And they are the ones, if I'm not careful, that will keep me in the ordinary space and will not allow me to leap. So I'm going to upload these 3 different parts of the task, and also think about what could actually change about your self-talk, And I know that often the victim will not allow us to hear the deeper layers because that self-talk is just so noisy, okay? And that's okay. So you work with whatever layer is speaking to you right now, okay? So just feel into that. And also, is that really true? Okay, but we're not going to look for a lot of solutions here in the first day of the workshop. We're just going to start map. We're going to add more and more puzzle pieces as we go along throughout the workshop, and the good news and the reward is the more we engage the journey, the more calls to adventures that we answer. You will get into that inner cave several times and find the deeper layers. And I know one of my deeper voices is the voice of inadequacy, the voice of I don't matter, nothing matters, which is why the escapist can be active and take over once in a while, because she then thinks, well, why then bother? So part of the journeys that we offer here in the Circles of Change Academy is these deep, deep journeys. That's what part of our boot camps and our, even the coach education where we educate depth coaches. We don't want to leave any stone unturned. So this is the task for today, and this is the little teaching for today as we kick off our workshop. You'll find it under guide number 1. Also, if you want to get into the lucky draw, remember to upload your answer, your contribution, your task before midnight, and then you'll be part of the lucky draw tomorrow and become the workshop champion. So I'm just going to call up all the prizes again so you can see them here. You can also find this one in the workshop space. Hey, Lisa, lovely that you're here and lovely that you're all here and joining the workshop. And I'm so excited that you tuned into today's teaching, that you're celebrating with me. This is my way of celebrating 15 years in South Africa. An amazing, incredible journey has come alive, and each one of you is part of this, and that's why I wanted to gift you this space. Let me just take away the cover here so that as we conclude our workshop, I just want to give thanks to you, and don't hesitate in asking any questions about the journey, about the hero's journey, about the task. You might have some roadblocks in the middle of your exploration, and remember to support each other. This is a private group, our Awakened Leadership community. So what you share in this group doesn't go out to the entire world. It just stays within this group. So thank you for joining me today, dear ones. Thank you for coming into this space. And I look forward to be active in the group with you throughout the day. And tomorrow morning, I'll be back with the next big theme, which is the shareholder. I can't wait to open another door in the exploration, the shareholder, in the well-being of us all. I'm sending you lots and lots of love for today. Take care.